Well, hello, I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I'm here with Ann McKitrick, who is another amazing woman-owned business. She has many gifts and many talents. So thank you, Ann, for being here in honor of WO3 Day.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So I can't wait to dive in to tell you all the things that Ann has been up to. But let me just give you a quick little bio so you understand the wise woman we have here with us today. So Ann McKitrick is the founder of Nurture Noggins, a comprehensive resource for parents. She also has a business called Momentum Success Coaching, and she's also the host of Parenting in the First 3 Years podcast. Ann is a frequent conference speaker and a certified success coach and early childhood specialist with over 20 years in experience in this field. She provides online professional development for thousands of childcare professionals each year through her online business, Texas Child Training. She is an advocate for children, advisor for parents, and mentor for women seeking healthy and mindful balance for home and career. Ann has been featured in Romper, Fast Company, Authority Magazine, Bustle, Biz Women, The Strategist, Inspiring Lives, and She Ventures. She lives in Houston, Texas, and she's a happy empty nester, which is why she can get all these things done, you guys.
Exactly. Right.
Look at all the amazing growth and creativity that just boom, right? She's got like 3 businesses she's operating. And she's also a grandma and she the creator of extraordinary charcuterie boards for happy hours on her back porch. I love that, Anne. So
It's
thank you
our
so much.
tradition on Friday night.
I love it. I need to get to Houston, Texas to be there with you. We would have so much fun. We'd
We
keep up the
would.
whole
We
good with
would.
all our laughing and talking and brainstorming.
Right.
Uh, so Anne is doing so many amazing things, but I really want to focus on this Momentum Supper Club. Can you please tell me about this? This is a new creation for Anne.
It is. Momentum Supper Club was born um, last year in 2023, in the spring of 2023. And what it is it's kind of it's an around the table gathering for women, mostly moms, but not all moms have come. I mean, not all the women who come are moms. And we look at some of the success principles that are defined by Jack Canfield, and I am a recently certified success trainer. And I just love this. I love his work. I have been studying it and implementing it in my own life for years. And as I was doing it, I was just thought, man, if I'd have just had someone come beside me and say, here's what you might try. Here's what you could do while you're changing diapers all the time and nursing babies and doing all those things. Here's some other things that you might be able to do to get those ideas going, because I was always thinking of things. I just have always been an entrepreneur at heart and a visionary. And many of my ideas I think would have been really great had I been able to pursue them. So I've created a place for women to come together and talk about that. What's their vision? What's their purpose in life? And then how to go about making that happen. There's a thing that happens when we have children, and that is that sometimes we can lose a little bit of the person that we are, or the person, we just kind of can lose track and get so involved in all of the stuff. And so this just allows people just once a month, because I know it's really hard to get away, but just once a month we come in, we have some nice wine and some good food, and we have very intentional conversations. We have a teaching, we have reflection time, and then we have food for thought for a month until we come back next time. And there's, all kinds of other things that go alongside that. But that's kind of the gist of it.
And so, yes. And so what I love is that this is a very intentional gathering, right? This is over the course of 4 months.
Mhm.
You're meeting live and in person. This is, right? This is like new, right? Building community, getting to know people 3-dimensionally.
Mhm.
And also in between having, like between having exercises. So there's just full support for those 4 months, all through this kind of umbrella of these success principles that will help create kind of like a container for growing. So
Right.
can you talk about the success principles? Just give us an overview of some of the ones that you might be speaking about in in that 4 months
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
being in the Momentum Summer Club.
Sure. I have an online course that accompanies our gatherings. And so I have what I call kind of an orientation or a foundation for our gatherings. And that's the very first principle, which is take 100% responsibility for yourself. And this is an amazing principle because if we could just grasp this, that it gets rid of everything. It gets rid of victimizing yourself. It gets rid of complaining. It gets rid of blaming and all of those things that we just kind of naturally do when things don't go right for us. Well, it must be this other thing. That must be these external circumstances that make that happen. And so we really dig deep into that because we've got to take responsibility for ourselves if we are going to pursue our purpose and do all of these other things. And so that's the first principle. And then our first gathering, we look at what's my purpose? What is my life really all about? What are the things that people tell me about me? How do people describe me? And then another great question is, when do I totally lose track of time because I'm doing something I love so much? And we kind of define what is that purpose. And usually it's what brings you joy, but sometimes it's what brings you to tears, or maybe it's what breaks your heart. Maybe that's your life purpose. So we kind of take some time and we have exercises developed that will allow you to kind of explore this and dig deep with it. Then you have a month to think about it. We'll meet online in between, and then you come back. And then we make a vision board where we actually create images of that life purpose that you have created. And this is in all areas of your life. It's not just parenting. It's not just your profession, but it's everything: your personal growth, your financial growth, your career, your everything that you want to have a vision for. And so I keep looking because I have my vision board right behind here, and I can look at my vision. I look at it all day, every day. And so that's what we do is we create this vision board, and along, with some very clear guidance and some brain science behind the vision. And then, so that's that week. And then the next month we come back and we say, okay, well, we've got our purpose defined. We've created a vision, just beginning stages, because none of this happens that fast. But then we have to set some goals. You can't just say it and not take action. And so the goals allow us to at least set one or two goals to make one of those things happen. When you're up to your neck in young children, I totally understand that there's not much time, but you do have a brain that is thinking all the time, and you could be working on some stuff inside your mind. And then, so we set some goals, and then the last gathering is it's called Release the Brakes. And it's really a look at your mindset and the thoughts that you say to yourself that either propel you or stop you from doing the things that you really want to do. And then all of this is rounded out with taking 100% responsibility for yourself. And so those are the principles that I have based this thing on.
Amazing. And I think the other thing is that when you're working with women, and in this particular situation, if you're working with moms, right, and whether they have a child that is 6 months old, 12-year-olds, or 25-year-old, these success principles are still really relevant, not only for the mom to kind of grow herself and become clear on her own vision, or getting clear with herself generally, like you said, taking full responsibility. But I think the one thing that I think is really amazing of what you're doing, and it kind of like melds together the Momentum Supper Club and the podcast, is the podcast is called Parenting in the First 3 Years, which is, the hardest time, right?
Right.
It's, they say what the days are long, but the years are short. It's so true with that age group. And so what Anne is doing is taking some of these success principles, and she's kind of merging them into, hey, what if you understood these success principles so well that even if you had a young child under the first 3 years, how could you use this science-based principles
Mhm.
to create an easier or a better container for parenting, right?
Right, right. Yes.
Because yeah, so because like, okay, so as everyone knows, I'm a gentle sleep coach. So I've been in the parenting world for 13 years, and there are so many parenting philosophies, right? There's like attachment parenting, and there's Rye, and there's Montessori. And I mean, we could go on and on, right? And so as a new parent, you might be like searching, like, oh, I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or you might go all in one modality. Those are philosophies, but they aren't necessarily value systems, right, Anne? And so
Mhm.
what you're trying to show in this Momentum Supper Club and kind of sprinkle in to your podcast is these success principles are ways for kind of like a principle that can be utilized not only for the adult but equally utilized to bring foundation to the child. So can you give some examples of that, of how you might use some of these success principles with like a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old?
Mhm. Yeah. You know, I think that probably the one that is easiest to apply to parenting, but I'd like to note that in the online course for each one of these principles, I do give information and ways to apply it to your parenting. And of course, I can be very specific to who I know, the people in my group. I know how old their kids are, and so I can make it very specific for their kids. But but I think that across the board, whether or not you, you know, co-sleep or, all of those things that people talk about, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is that you teach your child 100% responsibility. And what does that look like for a 3-year-old? Well, it looks very different than it would for a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old. But if in early childhood, we call this natural consequences, logical consequences, and letting a child feel the responsibility for throwing their food over the top, over the tray. Well, there's no more food now, or the ball, throwing the balls over the fence. Well, it's gone now, no more ball. Let's find something else to play with. And so that's kind of how it works. And of course, this becomes a little more important in adolescence and with our young adult kids, because it's not just getting the child to take responsibility, but it's also it's a mindset thing for us as parents to allow it to allow it to happen, because it's painful to watch sometimes. It's painful to see your children suffer the consequences of their decisions. And we can rescue them. Yeah, we can rescue them. But is that the
All
kind
day.
of
Yeah,
adult that
all
you want
day.
to create? I don't think
Right.
it is. And so um and so even that conversation, I think is a really important part of momentum, because it's what we have to do, regardless of your parenting ideals or, all of those things. We have to prepare this little person to go out there in the world and be able to take care of themselves. And we have to be able to separate from them, because no 25-year-old wants their parents clinging to them. But that's kind of part of what we moms want to do. And so getting your head around that as well is an important thing that we talk about.
I love this because she used a sentence which I'm going to try to repeat here, which I thought just encapsulates everything she's trying to do as part of her podcast and her Momentum Supper Club and using these success principles is we're going to look at the child as the adult you want them to become. And I think that is so beautiful because as parents, our parenting journey is all about building family and tradition, building family systems, carrying on rituals, traditions, but we're also growing, guiding, mentoring someone that's going to one day be an adult themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the more mindful and the you can be and the more resources you have, such as these success principles, helps that journey to become easier.
Right.
And Anne has created this beautiful program to make it very succinct, 5 principles and 4 months within the community of other women who are also growing themselves so that they can then become stronger and more centered so that they can then offer that to their children. So I think it's amazing.
Thank
So
you.
Anne, thank you so much. And so as part of WO3, which is all about partnering, promoting, and supporting women-owned businesses, we come to kind of my favorite part of the conversation, which is where my guest gets to give her own shout out for herself. Like, what do you want to share with us that we can learn more about you? And then after that, Anne gets to pay it forward and shout out someone who she's really, another woman-owned business who she's really excited to let us know about. So Anne, what would you like to shout out for yourself today?
Well, I just want to say that what I have described is a small group. It can't be a group of 50 women doing this kind of work together. We have to do it in small groups. And it really is nice to have it in a home and make it very, very comfortable. And that's a lot of how I've designed it. And so my goal is to increase this, to have momentum supper clubs all over the country, maybe even all over the world. And I want to help you figure out how to do that. I would love to equip you to do this, to create your own momentum supper club. And there, I am developing all of the materials needed for that. So if it sparks an interest in you, find me. I've got all my contact there. Just reach out to me. And just if you want to even just begin the process of thinking about this, I do have a tool that you can download. It's called 20 Ways to Power Your Parenting. And it's one of the very first things that we do in Momentum Club, which is think about, what is it do I really want? What do I want? What do I love? How do I want to be? All of those kinds of questions. And so it gives you the opportunity to do that exercise. And then I would love to shout out a young woman that I'm actually getting ready to interview her for my podcast. Her name is Andrea Ventum. And Andrea has done some amazing work in her young life. And she is now venturing out to become an online business manager. She has some amazing tools, some amazing experience. The people that she has been working for have is the Canfield Training Group, and she has developed amazing materials for them. She's done great work, and now she's venturing off into her own to help others do the same thing. So I would love to give her a shout out. It's Andrea Ventim, VENTIM.com. That's how you can find her.
Excellent. And so we will have all these links and contact information for you in the show notes so that you can find Anne, you can find her podcast and everything. So Anne, again, thank you so much for being here. And just a reminder to everybody, this year, WO3 Day is on Saturday, March 30th. It's always the last Saturday of the month. And the concept is just really lighting a fire under you to say, what can I do today to partner, promote, or support another female-owned business? And it's really easy. You can write a review. You can write a review for Anne's podcast. You can go to her, sign up for her newsletter. You could download her 20 power, what was it called? 20 power
20 ways to power your parenting.
20 ways to power your parenting. You could download that and tell a friend, right? There are so many ways that you can look around your life and recognize there are lots of women-owned businesses that you can partner, promote, and support in the month of March. And we really would appreciate you taking the time to do that. And this is how I am doing that as part of my Blissful Baby Sleeping community, is highlighting incredible women professionals doing incredible things to continue to support families and children. So thank you, Anne, for being here.
Thank you so much. So fun. Thanks.